Hi, good evening, everybody. Oh,
good evening. How's it going? Hey, Mick, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good.
So we're here for another podcast, if you will. It's called Who is Socal? And each week we feature a slice of Socal Pinoys or Philams in our community and all the things that they do that help uplift our Philam community. Right, Anthony?
That's right, Mick. We've got a great show today. Why don't we get started? You ready for this?
Yes. And before we get started, I just wanted to thank our sponsors. We do have a lot of sponsors, so thank you very much. We have Annabelle Abaya of Fusion Organics. We have Candy Cordero of Luxury Handbags and more. And we do have raffles later on tonight before we end the show. And Candy Cordero of Luxury Handbags and more is giving away a necklace. And we have Binalot Los Angeles, and they're giving away a voucher for any meal that they offer. And of course, we have the HiFi Hedgehog gift shop, and that's my online gift shop. And we're going to give away something special tonight.
All right. Lots of giveaways at the end of the show, so please stick around for that. And like I said, are we ready to do this? Also, thank you to our sponsors. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Right, Mick?
Yes. Yes. And tonight comes like our, filmmakers show comes in a really, good time, right? Like when all these things are happening to us Asians and Asian Americans and Filipinos, and there's always a need for some representation out there, right? And so this show comes at a very good time because we do need to talk about a lot of things, and we have a lot of people who are actually out there who can help move the needle in getting representation for us.
Yes.
Right, Anthony?
Very much so. You are very correct.
And so should we get this show on the road?
Now, I've been excited for this.
So
let's get this going.
Yeah, and so our first guest is ROMMEL ANDAYA. He's a filmmaker known for his comedic dramas and time travel stories. And with his production company called Raw Mix Production, ROMMEL has been providing a platform for actors and creatives for over a decade. And his award-winning films have been featured in many film festivals across the nation. ROMMEL immerses himself in all aspects of production and continues to create a foothold in both film and new media platforms. So should we bring him in?
Let's do it.
Hi, ROMMEL. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Mick, Anthony. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm here.
And ROMMEL has something to show us, right? So he has his show reel. And before we ask him, ask everybody like how they got into the whole business of filmmaking. Let's watch his show reel, shall we?
Let's do that.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes and we see what we've become. In the cold light of day, we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. every argument, every word we can't take back. Cause with all that has happened, I think that we both know the way that the story ends. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile. No, that means I'll have to leave.
You're left in the dust unless I stop by. You're a sunflower. You're a sunflower.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome reel.
Can you tell us?
Thanks.
I see a lot of familiar faces in that show reel, and can you tell us a little bit about your experiences in those films that you've done?
Oh yeah, of course. This show reel is just encompasses all of the work that I've done for that year, which is through my own productions and working with other filmmakers as well. So you'll see stuff from Kid Heroes and Xylophone Films and Wong Fu Productions, and I also worked at BuzzFeed, so I did a bunch of edited a bunch of videos for them. So you'll see some of that videos, but the majority of the films and music videos are from ROMMEL Productions.
That is so awesome. And so we're going to talk about all of that later on, and what your creative process is and how you ended up doing the things that you love, like a lot of our guests, right, Anthony?
Exactly.
And our next guest is no other than Abe PAGTAMA. So Abe PAGTAMA has been a member of SAG-AFTRA for almost 35 years, and he has appeared in so many films and commercials, and he is also a real estate consultant for Mega World Philippines, and he is also an entrepreneur. So let's all welcome Mr. Abe PAGTAMA. Hi,
Hello.
Abe.
Hello.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm not really high tech, so I let my son get me into this a while. So I just got in on time.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine. Thank you for inviting me. And as a senior citizen, I think I can contribute a little bit to what's going on as a filmmakers. I'm more actually as an actor than a producer, but because I've been in the business so long. So some movies that I'm in, they allow me to become an associate producer, and also me and my son also did produce some movies. So
Yes, and hi to Gabe if you're watching. Hi, Gabe.
yeah,
Hello,
it's,
Gabe.
Yes, and we do have something that Abe wants us to see, right,
Oh yeah.
Abe?
Let's share it.
Yes, let's share it. I don't think we have audio in this one, so maybe you can tell us what's happening.
this is the one I actually produced, and it's in Amazon.com right now, and it's been watched a lot by kids, and because of the NBA and basketball. So we made this movie, and we're kind of proud about it. It's been shown, to the Film Creative when we have it. It's a fun movie, and in fact, there's one kid that I think he watched it about 100 times. So I'm a little proud of this movie. So, yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about your projects a little bit later,
Sure.
and well, I just want to welcome our next guest.
Yes.
I think this is someone that you know, Anthony.
Maybe.
So our next guest is actually Patricio GINELSA, who is originally from Daly City.
Oh.
And he discovered his passion by making neighborhood movies at the age of 13. Like a lot of us, like, just take our cameras around the neighborhood, right?
Mhm.
And after graduating from cinema production at USC, he became the associate producer of that debut. And
Mhm.
he wrote and directed the feature film Lumpia. And GINELSA has also directed over a decade's worth of music videos for artists such as the Black Eyed Peas, the Apple Song, Bebot, Native Guns, Bamboo, Rocky Rivera, and Legacy. And his new film, Lumpia with a Vengeance, just won the Audience Award for Best Narrative Feature at the Hawaii International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Hi, Patricio.
Hello.
Hey, Mick. Hey, Anthony. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming out.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure to be here.
How are you
Cool.
doing?
I just got the vaccine today, so it was my first shot. So,
Oh, your first one?
so
Okay.
yeah, so don't mind me if I feel a little bit drowsy today.
No worries. They say the second one is the one that's gonna kind of like. you're gonna
Oh
have to give
man,
you
if
all.
the first shot is making me feel this way, I don't know about this. I don't know if I'm ready for the second shot.
Trust me, my brother, when he had the second shot, he was out. He was out the whole day. It's pretty much. But it's good. It's good. I'm glad that you guys got it.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to go out and shoot some stuff.
I feel you.
I know we have a trailer of Lumpia, and maybe I can pull it later. I'll try to pull it out. Yeah, and so we'll show it later. But our next guest is actually Angela Paviera, and she is a Filipino-American filmmaker who is known for creating comedy skits as well as directing and producing music videos for artists. And she works full-time editing videos for numerous brands at Narrative Ads. And Angela is currently developing her first pilot and attending writing workshops at the moment.
Awesome. Let's bring her out.
Yes. Hi, Angela.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for coming out.
And so can you tell us a little bit about what you do? Like we'll just start asking everyone about, what they do and how they got into filmmaking and yes.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of the content that I create is drama and comedy. I just think of ideas through my real life experience, and I get inspired from just watching my favorite TV shows on Netflix or just conversations I have with people, interesting things, interesting people that I meet, and I try to bring it to life and in a short form, like skit or like a short film that I make. So I put a lot of my content on YouTube and Instagram, but I do plan on working in the television industry, hopefully one day. So that's kind of where I'm headed right now.
That is so awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of things exciting happening for you at the moment. It seems like.
Yeah.
Like even though we're all in a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And so let's meet our next guest, like Mark AJ NAZAL. He's a multicultural filmmaker, an Emmy Award-winning visual artist and supervisor, best known for his work on Fox's primetime show Gotham. And he is committed to telling stories that blend sci-fi and fantasy elements with real-world themes. And he does have a new project. Mark has a number of projects in development, from his quarantine comedy short Wishful Thinking, that's currently in festivals, and the urban Americana Philippine mythology supernatural drama Carmina is in post-production. So let's all welcome Mark NAZAL.
Hey guys.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going? How are you guys doing?
We're great. How are you, Mark?
Great. Thank you for having me on, and it's great to see everyone today.
Yes, and I was just reading about your background and how you've lived in so many different countries. And so how has that helped in um you getting into filmmaking, and how has that like helped you, with your interest in films?
Well, quite honestly, let me put it this way. When you make personal films, everything that you make is based on your experience. So I think, if anything, it enriches a lot of the material that I draw from, because I don't only draw from things here. Like, I'm not sure if you've read my bio, but I didn't get here until I was about 18. Prior to that, I was in Australia. Prior to Australia, I lived in the United Arab Emirates, and I spent like a small part of my childhood in the Philippines, but I still clearly remember a good a lot of them. So with that said, like, when I form stories, all of those places become a factor in telling those stories. I think that's why, as a filmmaker, I consider myself not just Filipino-American, but multicultural, because I remember all of those experiences, and those experiences are certainly all a part of me. So the stories you could find like greatly vary in culture and tone, and even in representation, from Filipino to like everything else that I sort of remember or can connect with.
That is so awesome.
I like
And I'm
how,
sure
you've lived in so many places, and you've taken a little bit of each of that culture, and brought it together in your creative process.
You know what? I feel like that's exactly what's happening to a lot of people. Like, quite honestly, a lot of people, especially today, are what we consider to be third culture kids, where, people grow up outside of their cultural origins or their parents' cultural origins. And in fact, my upcoming project, Carmina, which is in post-production, but also there's a comic book series coming out for it, which we're looking to release this year, is pretty much that, because it's urban Americana, because in a sense it takes place in a small town in middle America, but then it has Philippine mythological characters that are sort of interacting with them. So what does that tell you? I mean, if our stories travel, then so do our mythologies, you know what I mean? Like, I distinctly remember, and this gives you an idea of like what kind of processes kind of come into play. I remember when I first moved here, I was delivering newspapers with my cousin, and my cousin's superstitious, and as all of our relatives tend to be, I think. And then my cousin, out of nowhere, just goes like, "Hey, look behind your eye line." He goes like, "What?" It's like, "There's a tikbalang behind the corner of your eye." I'm like, "We're in Orange County." but you know what though? It's like, those experiences, like the way that people believe certain things in our culture, resonates with me. And like, unlike a lot of the people here, I'm actually a new person to the Filipino-American community. I didn't become involved with the film groups until about 2017. I think for me, the Emmys had a lot to do with that, because after that happened, coming from a different country altogether, I didn't really think it was possible, because you don't think about it. You don't think about that being something that you achieve. And when it did, it changed my perspective a lot, in the sense that I wanted to tell more personal stories. But before that, I kind of wanted to focus a lot more on the mainstream. And after that, I wanted to do more personal things. And ever since then, I started going on that journey.
That's amazing. We all need to take that journey, right, Mick?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is so true. And I'm curious to find out about each of your journeys. And our next guest is Cassandra Pimentel. She's from America's finest city, San Diego, and she's now residing in Los Angeles, another very, very fine city. And she's a Filipino-American filmmaker, most known for her festival-selected short film, Plaza Boulevard, in 2017, and a web series called It's Not You, It's Me, from 2014. And she also did ABS-CBN Mixed TV's original series, ASS, A Scary Sleepover, and music videos with well-known Filipino-American artists such as the Philharmonic, Jules Aurora, Judge Vincent, and Garth Garcia. And so let's all welcome Cassandra.
Hello, thank you.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
We're
We're
great.
good. We're really good. Yes, and we're all excited to find out everyone's stories and how they got into filmmaking and what stories they want to tell. And I was just saying earlier, like how I discovered your music video, the music video that you directed. It's like one of my favorite songs.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. That was a absolute fun shoot over the summer. That was when there was nobody at the beach in Santa Monica, so it was a safe shoot. But I'm glad you loved it.
Yes, it didn't look like Santa Monica, but by the looks of it, aside from the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, at first some of those shots, I was like, where is she shooting this? It wasn't until we hit the Ferris wheel, I'm like, oh, that's Santa Monica. Look,
it was like ghost town back then.
Yeah, well, not just that. Some of your angles in the shots, I was told like, wait, what corner is that? You know?
Is this LA?
Yeah. You really reimagined it, basically. You know.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. It just seems so different. Like I was like, wait, that's not something. Oh, it is. You know.
Into another fun beach world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were all locked down, so at that point in time, that was fun beach world. You know, it's like, oh, I miss. You know?
Right now, I'd be too scared to go out there.
Yeah, same here.
Yes, and so speaking of something different, our next guest is an expert in something different, right? So he was born. AJ CALOMAY was born and raised in West LA in Socal area, and AJ is a film and TV editor, an assistant editor on Mr. Robot, Hunters, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and is currently working on a sci-fi show for Apple TV Plus. And he produced the feature film Lumpia with a Vengeance through his company Xylophone Film. So let's all welcome AJ CALOMAY. Hi, AJ.
Hello. Hey, what's up, AJ?
What's up, Anthony? What's up, Nick? Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you too?
Thank you so much for coming out, AJ.
Yeah, of course. Happy to share.
And congratulations to the new addition to your family.
Thank you. Yeah, 3-month-old Raisa. My wife Anna's been amazing as I'm like doing live streams like this, holding it down. But yeah, no, it's great. Thank you so much.
Yes, and so we were just talking about making the familiar unfamiliar, right? And you along with PATRICIO has done something very different to the lumpia, right? Because you've made it into a weapon of opportunity.
Yeah, so we definitely weaponized it, which can be symbolic as well, right? I mean, it's no, we met over 20 years ago, and this has sort of been like we did. He was shooting the first Lumpia movie on his own with his friends. I came along and helped put together a trailer, helped him realize sort of what he can do visually, and we did the first movie, and then about more than 15 years later, here we are with the second movie. It just shows how difficult it is to make a movie like this. This is not only a Filipino-American movie; it's a genre movie, action movie, comedy. So many elements. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. And this is on top of, like you said, like all the shows I work on. I've been working pretty much full time. Blessed to be working full time in TV, being in the union for the Editors Guild, but I think it's important for me to continue to keep my feet grounded in the community. I'm born and raised here in LA. I mean, lots of experiences here within LA as well, and just knowing the people who are coming here. Different communities I've interacted with, it's so rich in stories as well. So it's been nice, But yeah, happy to see this community continue to grow, and I think it's important for all of us to really give back and share our knowledge and experiences,
Yes, and speaking of building a community, our next guest has definitely built a community around the Fil-Am creatives, so to speak, right? And so our next guest is Charles Gray. He's a Filipino-American writer and director from Los Angeles, California, and he is currently the director of digital content for Character Media, which is an online-based platform that celebrates Asian Americans in entertainment. And he hopes to uplift and amplify the Asian American community with the stories that he tells through narrative feature films, short films, documentaries, music videos, media, and more under his production, Weird Creatures. So let's all welcome Charles Gray.
Hey.
Hi, Charles.
Hello,
How are
Charles.
you doing?
How's it going? Good, good.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been a while. I haven't seen you in ages, Charles. I know you've been hanging out with my brother, but I haven't seen you in ages.
Oh, wait, your brother is
Justin.
Oh, right, HiFi Kitchen. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, he's been doing some amazing things lately.
Yeah, he has.
Oh
we
my
actually
gosh.
had dinner with him. So I mean, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that guy's cool. I love HiFi Kitchen. Those bowls are amazing.
They're on. Yeah, they're on point.
There's something
for
else.
sure.
Yes, and so you built a sort of helped build a community around directors, editors, writers, and other film creatives here in SoCal, right? Is it in SoCal only or in California?
Yeah, sorry, I just sorry, I just saw that my Mac is about to die. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not currently the executive director of Film Creative, but yeah, for that year that I was in there, it was, you know, kind of bringing all these people together and just trying to foster a community. We did events, we had potlucks, panels, film nights. It was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. I actually miss it so much. Like, just I kind of wish I could go to a potluck and see all these people that are here today on this panel. It's like I haven't seen some of these faces in so long, so this is like a little reunion too.
So let's bring them all in, since everyone, like a lot of the people that you work with are here with us tonight.
Yeah, let's bring everyone in.
Yeah, let's bring everyone in. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
All right, who brought the
Hi,
Toron?
everyone.
I mean, if we could
Are
have
we
that
having a potluck or what?
Virtual
I'm having a drink.
I have my drink here.
Did I get everyone? Did I get everyone here? Am I
Yeah,
missing
that'd
someone?
be a bummer if someone was like,
I think everyone's in the house, which is good.
Yes.
love the composition here. It's like beautiful. Great composition. I'm gonna screen grab this.
Hey, Charles. What's up, Charles?
Hey.
Okay.
Like,
the Brady Bunch
almost.
Cassie, want a beer over here? Who wants a beer?
We got a lot of the movers and shakers of film industry, right? in SoCal. And so can you tell us how did you guys get started? Like, so for those people who haven't answered this question earlier, how did you guys get started?
Who want to go first?
Cassie? Casey?
Should I go first?
You look like you're ready to answer.
Well, I've always been fascinated with behind the scenes of film. When I was little, I'd go to Universal Studios all the time, and my favorite ride would be the back lot ride with the tram. And then I guess I didn't realize it was a career. I can turn filmmaking into a career in college because I was a dentistry major, and then I realized I didn't love it, but I kept doing film throughout my young life. And after getting involved with the Filipino club in SoCal and learning from other Filipino-Americans that there are so many Filipino-Americans in the industry, I was like, oh, I guess I need to follow my dream, follow my passion. So I did the route, took what do you call it? I stopped doing biology and I tried to find my way into film. I did internships starting at Fox, and then I landed an assistant job with a film producer who's actually the film producer of well-known movies that you might know, like Ender's Game and Wedding Planner. So she's been a great mentor for the past 5 years. And throughout that, I've been realizing that directing is my passion. I like to do. Is there an echo, kind of?
Yeah, you're echoing.
Yeah, I think you're echoing a little bit.
Yeah, where is that coming from?
Yeah. If someone has a monitor on, like you can turn the volume down or turn off the volume, because we can hear the feedback, right? I can hear myself twice. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah, so anyone else wants to answer the question? How about ROMMEL?
All right, I'm unmute. Yeah, when how I got started was when I was young, I started experimenting with my dad's camcorder and started making films with my brothers and my cousins, and they were very silly videos, but no one's ever gonna see those. And yeah, and that's when I got the film bug to, like, shoot stuff, and then I finally watched my favorite movie, Back to the Future, and that inspired me to want to make a movie like that. And yeah, I just wanted to do that. And after that, I joined the military, and then I stopped that idea of pursuing film because I needed to support myself. And then a blessing happened, and I was able to go to college and pursue film.
That is so cool.
It's funny how, like, I feel like that's, was that all of you guys? Is that with all of you guys? For all of you guys, was that the same thing? Like, you kind of picked up a camcorder, or you watched the film, you thought, I could do this, Because me too, I have a lot of I also have a selection of Super 8 tapes with action figures involved. Like, because I didn't have actors, it was just
stop motion.
Yeah,
not stop motion. It was just more like I would just do hey guys, follow Cobra or follow Luke Skywalker into the
Yeah, no, that's what I did when I was younger. I mean, I did it with Transformer toys.
Transformers, I knew it.
And much like ROMMEL, it was my dad's camcorder, and it's funny because when I think about it, I think if I don't think I would pick up filmmaking if I started like today, because at that time filmmaking wasn't really that big, and I only chose filmmaking because everyone else that was Filipino in where I grew up in Daly City up north was either DJing or that was like the thing to do, and so me choosing filmmaking was, I felt unique and a way to get away from the bullying that happened to me a lot, and so I started making movies with my neighborhood, and we would do these summer projects called Kid Heroes. So every summer we would get the gang together, shoot a movie, and then we would put on. This is back on Video 8. It's not even High 8, Video 8. We would have a premiere in VHS tape, and then we would pass it along during high school, during the school year. And I would have a slam book where I would make people, like, when they watched the film, they would have to tell me best scene that didn't work, best character, and then this would happen throughout the whole school year, where they would pass the VHS tape from person to person. And then by the time the next summer came up, a lot of people wanted to be in the next movie. We would make a Kid Heroes too. So that was kind of like my first foray in filmmaking. And it was Boys in the Hood, John Singleton's film, that really inspired me to become a filmmaker, to actually pursue it as a career. That's why USC became my dream school. Had no idea that George Lucas and all these other cinema greats went to USC. All I knew is that this 21-year-old Black filmmaker came from there, and I wanted to learn everything that this guy learned. And so I went to USC, was fortunate enough to get into the film program. So it took me 5 rejections to get in, graduated. And even though I did graduate USC Film School, the real film school for me was the debut. And if anyone who's not familiar with the debut and you're Filipino-American, where have you been? But that was my film school. We, Jinka Hayan, who directed that film, became, I started as an intern, and through the 4 years, that film being done independently, we're actually celebrating the 20 years of it going self-distribution, where we actually drove our car cross country and we released that film throughout the country. And so that for me opened my eyes to really what kind of movies I wanted to make, because I saw the audience with my own eyes, and a lot of my network today is because of all the contacts that I've met in that 2-year tour. And then of course AJ, teaming up with AJ, we were very fortunate enough to work, do music videos and commercials, and do some high profile projects within the community. And then this with the Black Eyed Peas and a lot of other musicians. that led now to our first real feature film together, Lumpia with a Vengeance.
Right. That's a sequel. I'm eventually going to see it. You know, I can't wait to see it. So with that in mind, who were this is a question for all of you guys. Who were your influences, like that made you finally decide I'm going to take that jump and go into film? Like major influences, or you know, what was that moment that it just clicked in your head? You know, I know for ROMMEL it was kind of like Back to the Future, but was there a certain director or a cinematographer or like, you know, a screenwriter that just went, you know, just hit you and you were just like, I got to do this, you know?
I just want to say, yeah, for me, it was actually my dad, because my dad is a filmmaker, and you know, I was in the Philippines and I saw him directing a TV show, and I was like, that was my moment, honestly, because before that, like, I love film. Like, I used to maybe like my journey into storytelling was maybe playing with GI Joes and like making stories out of that, but like seeing my dad do it firsthand was like my kind of entryway, honestly. So.
That's so awesome. And like before anything, I wanted to find out, you know, so for consumers like us who are not in the film industry and we're not writing or directing or producing, what are the different roles in making a film? I know like movies, you know, are comprised of so many different people, right? Doing like so many different things. So can someone, or you know, like any one of you, explain what are the different roles that go into filmmaking?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's tons, and I think that's one of the things. Like, you hear our common stories where we're saying, "Oh, we picked up, you know, our family's camcorder and just started filming." A lot of our parents, you know, may or may not have known this as a career, right? It's like they think you either have to be like, you know, Steven Spielberg or something, you know, or like, you know, just some kind of like big time producer who they've heard of, which is fine, you know, because it's not like I know like, you know, the top 10 architects or something, you know. So I think it just takes some research, you know. It takes, if you really want to get into film, like, what's your role? What are your strengths, right? So that's what I found out for myself. But yeah, just a quick breakdown. I mean, yeah, there's you know, the development, which is like the writing side, executive producing, right? Finding the finances, who's going to fund this, who's interested in this movie. So you have that side, writing, development. You have you know, producers and directors who put everything together. You give the script to a director. The director goes on set, directs actors, sets the tone. I mean, it's tons. We can talk about this for, you know, days, but that's a quick overview. And then there's post-production, which has been my specialty now for 20 years, just working with editors, you know, visual effects, color correction, sound. So it's a whole array, and there's so many positions within those. I mean, it's a huge undertaking. That's why it's so expensive, you know. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of people, a lot of hands that need to be involved in this to make it right. So
yeah, and I want to add to that as well. It's like, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is VFX is one thing. It's a very, very, very large entity, because I'm sure, as you guys probably see in all of your major Marvel movies, there's like 300 people in the credits. It's because all of those disciplines are actually even broken down even further to replicate what's being done on set. So, you know, you have people that light in post-production VFX, as well as people that light on set. You have people that animate on set versus puppetry in real life. You have people that texture in visual effects as opposed to paint. So what visual effects really is it's trying to mirror how production functions, but in a digital environment. And even that in itself is multiple disciplines, not necessarily one discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not just like, you know, when you're putting together small productions, like, oh, we need a VFX artist. Like, well, let's see your script.
Exactly.
You have.
I think my favorite things are, you do VFX, right? I'm like, yes. Can you be more specific?
Yeah. Which is fine. You know, I mean, I think it's a matter of just sort of assessing projects, you know. And I think, you know, it's interesting, you know, we're here on Socal Filipinos. We're here in the heart of it, right? We live here. Why aren't there more of us working in it? You know, I grew up here. I didn't aspire to like, you know, work in this industry down the street. So yeah, there wasn't a lot of awareness of like, you know, what can we do? Is there like just a true 9-to-5 film job? Yeah, there's plenty, you know, or is it all just sort of like, you got to take a big risk and make the best story of your life and then you're working? No, there's like many different ways depending on what you want to do. You know, I mean, yeah, there's absolutely harder paths, you know, acting, right? Writing, directing, right? You know, VFX is hard because there's so many dang elements, you know, that it's so difficult. I mean, each discipline is difficult to get into, but yeah, there's absolutely an array of jobs, and you know, I mean, hey, you know, we're in a pandemic. Like, what are we doing? We're watching Netflix, we're watching Disney Plus or whatever. You know, we didn't have that. We didn't have those jobs out there. You know, we'd be just watching, whatever. Yeah, you know, we're just talking to each other.
To reiterate what AJ was saying, though, it's like it depends on your strengths, but also I think there is something about the fluidity of it where you could begin in one part, but you might end up in a different part later in your career. That's certainly true for any individual in this industry because it's, you know, it's a creative field and everybody wants to have certain stories told. When you're a part of a production, you'll learn what it takes to get certain parts done. But in doing so, you have a greater understanding of the process. So you're easily able to look for other ways to tell your story, whether it's going from one discipline to the other or bringing what you know into your own productions.
And speaking of bringing what you know or bringing what you're good at or what your strengths are into a production, can you describe your creative process? So when you write something or when you think of a story, like how does it all start? It starts with a story, right?
It's always conversational because there's nothing more powerful than having a conversation with somebody that you can connect with. I find that if I stay within my head for too long, usually the stories begin, but they always stay small. Whereas the more conversations we have with people that you could collaborate with and who are very like-minded as you are, it sort of expands your reach, but it also adds more texture and flavor to your stories.
That's a great point, Mark. Like, I've never thought of it that way. I always thought that you had to sit in a room and just bang it out, but
that's torture.
Yeah, but the way you brought up, it's like, wow, it's always good to have like a second voice or to bring in a new idea, you know, that you didn't think of in that, you know, that session when you know, created the first draft, when you created the idea, you know?
I mean, that's basically what a film is. A film is a large collaboration of a lot of people, and being able to leverage that on any production, whether it's big or small, should be something that everybody should consider. Sure, you know, people say certain directors like Kubrick are auteurs, but at the same time, regardless of how you put it, they still had a support system. It's like nobody works in a vacuum, and people that assume to work in a vacuum kind of stay there. So.
That's a great point.
And so we have like one actor here, Abe, right? So you're more on the acting side, but nevertheless, you know, it's all part of filmmaking, right? So how do you can you describe your creative process and how do you collaborate and work with directors and writers and producers and everyone on the set?
Yeah, thank you for having me in here. Really, you are all of my kids now, or grandkids, to be honest with you. I've been working with a lot of you guys, and except Mark, it's first time I know about you, Mark, but everybody in here knows me, and especially Patricio and AJ. That it seems like I'm the favorite actor that they have.
It's mandatory to have you, Abe. It's so mandatory. You have to have
I'm your lucky charm.
I guess, Abe, that means I have to call you one of these days because it is mandatory.
It's like in this clause somewhere, you know.
It's initiation, Mark. You're gonna have to put them in your next call sheet.
There's a saying before you guys even born, I guess, that if Abe is not in the movie, and then it's not a film movie. So think about that. Anyway,
hint.
yeah. I like working with you guys. I feel like I'm young again, you know, when I'm working with you. But to be honest with you, I've been in this industry since 1973. So anybody who was born before 1973. so, I've been in that industry for a long time. And yeah, a lot of people see, how do you prepare the character? Um, I guess I'm not really focused to be um, winning the award or anything like that. So whatever the director or the script is showing me, that's when I start thinking about who that character is. And so I can play bad guy, good guy, whatever you want me to do. And if you want me to jump in the river, Pat, I'm not going to do that. So, so anyway, I'm just proud that you guys are in this. Cassandra, also, you know, I work with you, so thank you for having me in your movie.
Yeah, and I really should watch your episode in a scary sleepover. You're hilarious.
Yeah, you know, both of my kids are the industry. My daughter is a producer also, an Emmy Award producer for reality TV, and of course my son, he writes and does a lot of stuff also. So I didn't tell them to be in this industry because I know it's hard. You know, it's their mom is a nurse, and I don't know why they didn't become a nurse. so, I'm just glad that I guess what happened is that when they were young, I was doing theaters, and they kind of see that I was having fun, so they want to get into that in the industry. So I'm just proud of you guys that, you know, you're doing this, that instead of being a doctor or nurses, just like everybody else. So also the people who's watching from the Philippines right now, we have a lot of people who are watching in the Philippines. So because I did a lot of movies also in the Philippines. I produced some of this also in the Philippines. So I'm available to, you know, we have to be one, to be just like what we did in Film Creative. You know, nobody else gonna do this without us. So I'm glad that you guys are doing it, and I was always gonna be with you guys. So yeah, I'm proud that you guys invited me to this one.
That is so awesome. And so
It's because we read the clause.
we,
We read the clause.
we
You
had
can have this
to.
panel without you in it, you know.
That is so funny. And so Abe mentioned something that's, you know, that is common to all of us, right? So with the older generations, we always have this conflict of, you know, like your parents or grandparents or titos and titas, you know, think of a different path than what you want for yourself, right? So did you guys have any experiences with that?
I'll be the first one to speak. So that's a most definite yes. Surprisingly, though, it wasn't my parents that had an issue with it. It was my aunts and uncles that were like, you should be a nurse. So I think, I apologize for saying this, but it is the truth. I stopped talking to them for a good amount of time before I proved that it was a viable career choice. So no, don't worry, everything's great now. But I had to kind of do that to you know, to prove it to them that, yeah, if you follow, you know, your path, there is a way for you to go forward. But I kind of wanted to put myself away for a little bit before I confronted them about it.
So I can answer that question. So growing up, like my parents, they would always laugh at my like homemade movies that I would make with my sister. And I started actually making films the same age as Pat, 13. And I never really thought like, okay, I'm going to pursue filmmaking, because I thought it was one of those careers like an older white male with a beard and a hat would make, and you have to have a lot of money to make a film. So I didn't think it was possible, but because over the years, I just learned more and more about the industry, and I just continued to get inspired. And especially these days, we see more and more diversity on screen, and just living in LA and being immersed in this like culture just really pushes me to want to like prove my parents wrong, because my mom, she doesn't support me, unfortunately, still. She actually wanted me to do nursing. So I was studying nursing for 2 years. And then against her wishes, I told her, okay, well, I want to move to LA. I want to go to film school. And I begged her. And then finally she was just like, okay, I give up on you. Like, none of my daughters wanted to be a nurse. Everyone just did their own thing. But sometimes it just takes a long time to earn that kind of respect from your parents. But you have to like respect yourself and like what you want to do and make a difference where it matters to you first before trying to impress your parents, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's your life, not your parents.
Yeah, and I think I also strongly believe that if it's something you want so badly, you're more likely going to fight for it a lot more than you would if it's not something you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's definitely true, and you guys bring up a good point. So, with the younger generation coming up now, what would you say to them? Like, they want to follow this, but of course they've got their parents standing in the way, telling them, "Oh, you know, you need something more substantial. Like, you need to be a nurse. You need to be, you know." Like, what would you tell them?
I think the first thing is research, because research is the most powerful tool. You need to give them prime examples of people that have made it that kind of look like you. And I think that that's why this panel is valuable, because it shows that generation that it is not just possible, but it's viable, right? And, you know, for the younger generation to be able to see that, I think is valuable. But also, what I say to a lot of people that are wanting to get into the industry is I'm never going to tell them it's easy, because like AJ mentioned, it's not easy. It's not easy to get in, and it's not easy to stay in it. You have to have a certain amount of tenacity to want to continue being in it, because I'm not going to say it's a challenge every day, but it certainly is always a proving ground, and you're as good as the last project that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, if you have the passion to do it, follow it, but also be smart about it. Find mentors that could support you along the way, and don't think that it's a solo act. It never is. Don't be afraid to seek out help and know more about what you want to get into, and be specific about the types of help that you want from different people, because a lot of these people, a lot of us are working professionals as well. And when somebody comes to us, we almost want to be, we want to be there for those people, but we also want to know that they're serious about what they're asking for.
Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out and follow up, and you know, just the simple professional things, you know, respond, you know, yeah, ask what you want to, you know, ask what you want to do. Let us know what you want to do. My lane is post-production, editorial, you know, and I've been training folks, you know, so it's important for us, you know, on this panel to share what we've learned, right? To keep passing on, keep paying it forward. It's hard work. Like, this isn't gonna happen as far as like our Filipino-American stories, you know, Filipino stories just with us, you know, coasting along. It's hard work, you know, and then we have to promote it and get people to watch it and support it financially, you know, put our money where our mouth is, you know. If you see someone doing a crowdfunding campaign, you know, Filipino story, hey, support it. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, it's a different genre, but hey, you know, like, they're doing something, you know, support that, because that'll lead to the next thing, you know. So, you know, just let's open up our wallets and, you know, put it, you know, if something's there, promote it, support it financially. You know, it's hard. It took us a long time to get Lumpia with a Vengeance done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is with us working full time, because we didn't have the budget to just do this full time and make it our whole, you know, careers to just work on the movie. We had to do this while juggling everything else, while trying to, like, you know, raise our families at the same time. So yeah, you have to really work hard this is hard work to support this, to make this happen.
So get your movie made before you have kids and before you get a mortgage. That's the biggest takeaway from tonight.
Yeah. Young folks, do it now.
Yes, younger folks, get it done now while you have the time and the energy.
I just want to add something what Patricio and AJ is saying. And I really like what this said. That's you don't have to watch the movie; just buy the tickets. You know, so yeah. The biggest thing is that I hope the people is watching. In order for us to move ahead, we need their support. Without their support, we're not going to be able to make a lot of movies or talk about who we are, about Filipinos.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way that there's the saying goes, it's a show business. It's not a show art. They have to make money in order to make another movie. So hopefully people that are watching will start supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
And what do you think it will take to get Filipinos to start supporting films? What do you think will make them open their wallets and start, spending on films and buying tickets?
I mean, that's the $1 million question, or how much your movie cost, right? I mean, I'm still trying to. I mean, it's funny because when I was part of the debut, part of my job was being a salesman too. Like it felt like, just like Dave was saying, it felt like we had to get the vote out. We were campaigning almost in every city we were at, and trying to like, hey guys, if by buying a ticket to our film or watching it in the theaters, you're voting for more films like this. So a lot of it was really practicing what you preach. And so I always try to support and buy, whether it's musicians or content, and even making their music videos for free, right? Try to help support other artists in whatever capacity I can. So everyone has a part to do with it. I think it was very frustrating. And AJ, the reason why I took to even fundraise this film and why we did the crowdfunding venture that way was to see if there was still an appetite for films like that with the people who voted for it. Luckily for the debut, that vote mattered, right? Because after 2 years of being on tour, Columbia TriStar, Sony Pictures actually picked up the movie. And so we had a happy ending for the debut that now you can just go on Amazon Prime or Vudu and you can watch the debut. Anyone can watch it. But, there was always a fear if we didn't do what we did, or people didn't vote or just bought that whatever $8 ticket or bargain matinee at that time, we would never had that happy ending. So it does matter. I've seen it with my own eyes. And so in a way, when we did it, when AJ and I decided we needed to do the feature film for doing all these short form stuff for so many years, we needed to know if the community was still out there. And obviously now the trend with representation matters. And now with more filmmakers, and I think that's the one thing being part of this group, you see everyone here, is that I think at the time, though there were other filmmakers who wanted to do movies, I think it was hard for them to even create content because you saw how hard it was and how long it took. And now that the gatekeepers are slowly opening up and you see movies like, Yellow Rose, I think now there are a lot more filmmakers who are in the industry because filmmaking is, now you can just grab your phone and shoot stuff. So I'm hoping that it gets easier. But for us, even raising the funds for 7 years, even with people who, $10 was what we asked for due to Kickstarter. That was great. But the only reason Olympic Avengers actually made it and finally locked up was because of the people who donated, not so much the people who had wallets out there. And it's hard. You don't know what the formula is. It could be the script. For me, I felt like even though I did a lot of these high-profile projects and I directed Black Eyed Peas and did all these other things, and me and AJ's experience combined, it felt like we were starting from scratch and we had nothing under our belt. And so, we do this, so hopefully it's easier for us to make the next film. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you also need allies too. It's like if we have one of our non-Filipino allies, I'm talking about it, say one of our colleagues gets into a mainstream show, that gets excitement. We're like, ooh, I have a guest role in so-and-so show. Everyone's like, yes, you made it, But then you have a full Filipino short film, where's the excitement? So it's funny. It's like, I'm being real. I mean, you get non-Filipinos to be excited about a Filipino project, and the rest of the Filipinos will be like, oh, okay, I guess I better pay attention now. So, I feel that's how it is sometimes.
It's kind of heartbreaking with that. Like, it's like they'll only like you if the mainstream likes you, but they can't support you right then and there, which kind of sucks, because it's only then, and I don't get it myself because I'm not gonna lie, I've been dragged a lot by my titos and titas to go to these ABS-CBN films, you know, like when they come to this, remember when they used to come and then you go to the theater and you watch them in a packed house. But when it's like, hey, my friend has a film, they just look at you like, well, who's in it? Well, it's Filipino, you know, support. And they can't, you know, they can't wrap it around them, you know, as much as it came from like Star Cinema or something, you know. And I feel like that disconnect, we have to find a way to, you know, to reconnect, you know, in some way. And maybe it's story, you know, changing stories or just, you know, something. But I get what you're saying, AJ. You know, I totally get what you're saying. When it's a non-Filipino group that's going, yeah, you know, Yellow Rose, all of a sudden your aunts and uncles like, what is that movie about? It's got Filipinos? Oh, you know.
It's like, oh, I told you about that movie already.
Exactly.
And but like the positivity of all of this is like, even everyone here, you know, like ROMMEL, who helped us in all our projects, there are people out there who are on the same page. So as much as we, you know, me and AJ try not to focus on, like, if someone doesn't want to watch our film or doesn't want to invest in us, well, it's not their fault. It's on us to prove, okay, we're not doing enough to convince them that their $8 is worthy of our project. So I try to spin it and say, but you'll focus on the people who are helping you. I mean, ROMMEL, Angela, Abe, I mean, Charles, all of you guys, Cassandra and Mark, they've all put in hand supporting even our current project and our past projects. And they're doing their own thing, which inspires me, you know, to keep me and AJ going, because God knows we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if anything, I kind of want to reiterate on that. It seems like, especially today, times are changing. They're changing slowly, but they are changing. Like from this community alone, you see a lot of people just like willing to support each other for no reason at all. As the generation changes, then so does it. But I think the one thing I probably want to also think about expanding within this group is the world is getting a whole lot smaller. And so like a lot of the things that I tend to even think about, and a good chunk of that, it happens to, you know, even include some of the different languages from the Philippines, because one of the things you're starting to realize is it's no longer just about this small area that we're in, not even just this country anymore. It's, you may have fans from way across the world that could resonate with your material, and you just don't know it. Maybe you ought to give that a chance.
That's true.
Just adding to this thing, really, I think that we have the power to be out there as a cohesive group, and because of what we're doing right now, it's easier to communicate to each other. What I'm just trying to suggest is that even though you don't have any project right now, you should be at least promoting everybody's project. You know, and that's what I do. No matter what, maybe even if people that I hated, I still promote their movies or whatever the project that they have, because without us being cohesive, people that don't want to pay to watch our movie, just like what we're trying to say, that the only way we can get big funding from big studios, if they can see the dollar that's coming. Mm-hmm. So we have to be. We have to work together with that. And the only way we can do that, because we do have the power to use the social media. And like any other filmmakers right now, you can always claim that I have a distribution. You know, you can always put that in Amazon.com. So whether it's your project or somebody else, promote that thing, because it will help us as a group.
Yeah, like the question is, Abe, like, how many people have actually watched or even bought a copy of Yellow Rose and Blu-ray? You know, we don't get that many wins, so that's an example of supporting someone's work. I mean, me and AJ, not only do we share producers, with Yellow Rose in Recuerdo, but we're monitoring that because the success of Yellow Rose, and we're still seeking distribution for our film. It helps us. I mean, we get emails all the time saying, "How can I watch Lumpia with a Vengeance? It's only in this one festival or not?" I always have to say, well, we're waiting for another film festival closer to you, or we're waiting for wider distribution. But it's hard to kind of educate the fact is that if we can't even support the movies that are out there, do you have the debut? Have you watched Lingua Franca on Netflix? Those numbers work. If you get people to watch that, I mean, that's the money that Abe is talking about. That's the power of the voting and the ticket. So if you haven't watched Yellow Rose, I don't want to make anyone feel guilty, go ahead and watch it. It's you can now watch it with a click of a button on streaming, or watch Lingua Franca. That's another great film online. I mean, we can do a whole laundry list. Support each other's works. Watch what Rommel's doing, Angela, Cassandra, what Mark's doing. It's like there's we could go on. It's like
like what you're saying. Whether you have a project or not, you start supporting everybody else, because that's the only way you're gonna be known all over the place. Or there's so much stories about Filipinos all over the world. I always say that without the Filipinos in the world, this world will collapse. So there's a lot of stories that we can tell. Who's telling about stories about the seamen, the people that are working in Middle East, everywhere. There's no country in this world without Filipinos. Think about that. But in order for us to promote this one, we got to start promoting each other's work.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
See, friends, everyone. Vote with your dollar. That's what we're trying to say. Please.
Yes, that is so true.
I mean, my copy of Yellow Rose is here. It's circulating around the family, but I've bought 2 copies. So it's kind of like, Lumpia, same thing. I bought like 2-3 copies, but it's circulating, But I need to support, because you guys are you're our voices, like the more we the more you guys are out there, the more we can get more projects out,
I mean, I can't emphasize, Anthony, how important, like Diana's film Yellow Rose, how that's a big milestone for our community, because it is. I mean, people don't know that the Yellow Rose is the first film that got picked up and got a theatrical release from a major studio. The only setback is that COVID, killed its theatrical release, and we weren't able to show up in force. But we have a chance now to do that. Look, if those numbers are great and they're explosive, if our community, we always brag about how our community is so big and this and second to whatever Asian population, whatever. But man, if the Sony Pictures saw those numbers, they would literally, they're gatekeepers. They will just, the power of the dollar. They'll greenlight Angela's film, Rommel's film, every film right now that's film, everything that we're doing, and that's why. And for us, selfishly, with Lupio with Vengeance, like we're hoping those numbers go up. So anyway, yeah.
I think it's also important to get, Filipino writers in the writer's room, and for people to start picking up writing as an additional skill in their filmmaking list of things that they're really good at. And so that's why I joined a Asian female writers group, and we meet up every month, and actually really pushing me to have a stronger voice as a filmmaker and to be confident in like the stories I want to tell, because for the longest time I've been like, let me just focus on comedy. But what really sells is like when you tell a story that people can relate to and something that's super authentic. And some like ideas, some themes are like, mental illness and like racism, female empowerment, things like that. Really, it really goes far into everyone's life, really. So if you can find stories that are meaningful and find a way to really share that and turn that into a film, that's when people are really going to start taking, Filipino filmmakers more seriously, when we're able to find a way to do that. And so that's why I think writing is super important too.
And speaking of writing and telling your stories, what stories do you want to tell everyone? If you were given a chance to write your own story and produce your own film, like the best thing that you could ever do in your life's work, so to speak, what would it be?
The story of PAGTAMA. No, I mean, not as a joke, but seriously, I mean, Abe's history, just being in the industry, is interesting. But I always pull from our history, just as Filipino-Americans growing up here. There's so much you could pull from Philippine mythology, which Mark pulls from, and there's a lot of, even within ours, that our history books have never told about. That's why, when we did, like the Apple Song and stuff, we always pulled from, the Filipino veterans, and we pulled about Little Stockton and Little Manila and Stockton. So there's already a wealth of stuff that for me, my mission as a storyteller is to really kind of bring those stories more to light,
Yeah, Mick, actually, that's a loaded question. And the reason it is because your interests change as certain things become more important to you at different times. Because over the course of my involvement within the Filipino-American community, just out of nowhere, I went from supernatural drama to voting PSA. You know what I mean? And those happened organically. They didn't necessarily happen because I wanted them to. They happened organically. So it kind of changes based on circumstance. It changes based on your own life experience. And there's never going to be just one project that you're going to want to champion. Like different projects you're going to want to champion at different times of your life and different times when different things become relevant to you.
Last night on the Clubhouse in the Filipino filmmakers group, they're talking about the Filipino nurse drama. So I mean, it's about time, right? I mean, how many hospital dramas are there with like very little, zero
for real?
And
someone writing a series on that on Filipino nurses?
No, not at the moment. Well, maybe who knows?
Oh,
maybe
it needs to happen.
But
that needs to happen. Yeah, definitely.
Gotta tell that story.
Yeah,
I mean, we had that one show that came out, Nurses, and there's no Filipino nurse in that show.
Well, AJ, you worked on a medical show, right? Can you want to share your experience about the Filipino nurse thing? You had a great story about that.
I did. Yeah, I worked on New Amsterdam, which is NBC medical drama. I'm an assistant editor, and seeing the footage come in, I was like, I don't see any Filipino nurses in here, so I had to raise my hand and say something.
You go, AJ.
I didn't tell my immediate supervisor, but luckily I knew someone with the network, and they made some calls. So, and that's why it's important to get people in those rooms, Angela, as you said, in the writer's rooms, people who can say something and be like, hey, that's not right. That's not quite accurate if you're trying to like be authentic. Yeah. So, we need people throughout the industry and to support folks in the creative arts to foster those kind of careers. So
yeah, even when I was doing background work on Grey's Anatomy, I looked around and I was like, where are all the Filipino nurses? This is not accurate. Who did the casting? Like, maybe I should be a casting director because like something's seriously wrong.
Yeah. And there actually did, there were some Filipino nurses who showed up, started trickling in as extras. One had a speaking role on an episode that I happened to edit, co-edit. So when I was editing his scene, I was like, all right, man, I feel this is full circle. I called my friend, maybe help get you here. I'm gonna edit you and get a little more FaceTime for you. I'm gonna emphasize your lines. I followed him on Instagram, and I was like, all right, man. He probably didn't know who the hell I was, but I was like, I'm not gonna DM him. I'm just gonna like watch his career grow.
Good on you, AJ. Good on you.
Are you doing I'm actually seeing like more and more Filipino actors on television series these days, which kind of like AJ like gives me that warm fuzzy feeling. Like when I see them on the TV screen, I'm like, oh my gosh, a familiar face that could be like my Tito or my Tita or something. Like it just makes you want to watch it more to see like their facial reactions or see like what's their role. Like, are they gonna act Filipino or are they gonna act American? Or are they going to be both? Like what, like it just reels you in. And it's also like an unpredictable game card. Like when you throw a Filipino in a film, like everyone just kind of like tilts their head and they're like, hey, is this the best friend or is the comic relief? Like what's going to happen? It just adds more like color to the show.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what Angela was saying, like about getting into the writers' rooms. I was also like in a clubhouse room, and there was an executive talking, and she was saying, when you're writing your characters, if you're not going to put that they're Filipino or like as specific as they can, then someone else can just cast it however they want to. So like if you are writing your stories and your intention is to write a Filipino character, however colorful they may be, it is important to write that in just so that they can be casted when the time comes. So
that's a great point. But Angela's right. As soon as a Phil-Am character shows up on a show, like I'm really interested. Like, are they gonna whitewash them, or he's gonna play straight, or she's gonna play straight? Because it's tough because they can be the best friend, and you're just like, this this is a banana, you know, or they're gonna be Filipino, like Filipino-American, you know, are they gonna be us? You know, it's the catch-20 or double-edged sword. But yeah, I totally understand where you guys are coming from.
Yeah, no, it's a little nerve-wracking. You know, you're like, oh, there's a Filipino, please, please don't mess it up for all of us.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why I got into filmmaking, because I just love the excitement that we all get when we see a Filipino. So that's my whole motto, is that I want to share the excitement of diversity and culture throughout mainstream media, because that's what the whole world sees. And going back to your question about if you could do one story, but yeah, there isn't one story. I would love to do many stories, but what I would love to do is direct a movie where the whole cast is just all well-known Filipino-American or Filipino actors and actresses like Darren Criss or Vanessa Hudgens. Just throw everybody all in that one movie. That would be fun.
And so speaking of like creating something with, you know, like all these well-known Filipino Americans and actors, who were your biggest influences that helped you in deciding to make the jump in this field? Like, you know, is it Spielberg or, you know, George Lucas? I mean, what was the impetus, like, and who was this, you know, person that made you want to become filmmakers?
Definitely Pat and AJ for me.
I second that.
I swear, like I was at San Diego State doing engineering 2006, and I was not happy pursuing that major. And when I saw the Bebot music video, I was like, who are these people behind this video? And I looked up, you know, their website, and I saw that was Pat and AJ, and they were pioneers back then. And I was like, if they can do it, I probably have a chance. So I just gotta. Sweet. I always give it up. I always tell them, even when I first met them, I told them that they were my idols, and representing. And that's one of the things that I hope that us here in this panel is inspiring a new round of Filipino filmmakers, that they can do it too, like we are, and they need to, you know, try it out, like Pat and AJ did. They took that chance. There was no other, like, there's very few Filipino-American filmmakers back then. I know the other one that I saw was like Bernard. Bernard made a feature back then too. So Bernard Badian.
And Bernard's in the Transformer cartoon right now. I'm just gonna give a shout out to Bernard Badian. He's on the Transformer cartoon. Yes.
We might get a Filipino Transformer.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not spoiling anything.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I just want to add something about these two guys, Patricio and AJ. I known these guys before they become filmmakers. You know, I work with Patricio in Dibu or Mercado Family. Remember Patricio? It was Mercado Family. And this guy just running around and, you know, helping out. He was still in USC. And he's trying to be an actor also. And he got his costume and nothing like that. And then he's waiting for a scene. And then the director said, "No, we can't use you in this in this scene." And going farther than that, then 2 or 3 years, something like that, then he became an assistant director for the movie. I mean, assistant producer. So what happened? You know, you can't even be in the scene when you were filming this. So I'm just trying to tell you that, guys, these two guys are really very loyal. You know, they're not only good people, but very loyal. And like I said, I've been working with them for a long time, before they were born. I'm just kidding. So, you know, if you have these two type of people that never give up, I think we have a very good future. So EJ and Patricio, salute to you guys.
Thank you, Abe.
No, I mean,
yeah. Oh no, wait. I mean, look, a lot. We were trying to pay it forward. I mean, the thing is, we were inspired by the generation before us. I mean, to this day, this is a hard industry to get into. So you know, when you learn more about just our culture, history, I think that's what inspired us. But I think, and I always talk about this. Like I always, as a filmmaker, I always just think about who my core audience, and I always pick that one random screening in Illinois in the middle of a week. Bargain matinee, and I just think of the audience that showed up to that screening for the debut, and for some reason that audience that showed up, it wasn't even mostly Filipino, probably one Filipino, and I always think about that core audience. What movie, the solution or the formula is, what kind of content should I create that will get those people to come in the middle of the week in a bargain matinee in that theater to buy a ticket to watch that movie? It happens to be Film, and so I've always when I'm writing, I'm always pandering to that audience, which is so weird, because it's so stuck in my head working, being on tour for that film, and it motivates me. I feel, look, it's easy to give up. I mean, there's so many times when myself and AJ wanted to give up, not only in just the independent filmmaking, but even with this film. But I think the advice, the takeaway you want to have with any filmmaker out there who's trying to get their stuff off the ground, and I know ROMMEL knows this, Cassandra knows this, Charles, Angela, Mark, because you have the support. There are people out there on the same page who want to support you, and it's just a matter of just finding the right people who will enable you to make what you want to make.
Yeah, and I kind of second that. And like I said, I'm 2 years into this community. And one of the things that I found was very interesting is we got invited to a lot of different events, and people were very likely to listen to what you had to say just because of who you are. And it's that kind of an interesting community that really just wants to support you in whatever you do. So that's a rarity, but I think, yeah, it's great.
I mean, I want to say, the filmmakers, Rod Polito, Gene Cahill, and John Castro, but also, folks here on the panel, Film Creative, seeing a burst of short films that came out a couple of years ago. It's awesome. It's rejuvenating to me to see. It's motivating for me. It wants me to see hey, there's folks, who are creating, these short films. Let me share my skills and knowledge with them, so you all continue to, inspire me. Casey, Angela, Charles, ROMMEL, Mark, Abe, Patricio. Stuff I see on TikTok, people are sharing Filipino stories there, with their parents, and non-Filipinos are getting it. They're laughing along with it. They're sharing more culture than we ever did before with our movies, so there's something there. We shouldn't ignore that type of storytelling that's happening. The world is constantly evolving. We got to listen to, what new generations are saying. I have a 3-month-old daughter. She's going to get into this, it'll be a while, but I want her to be, grow up in a world where, these stories don't have to be so hard to find, let's support our young folks who are telling stories in new ways.
Yeah, I think echoing on what Patricio said, it's interesting that people are starting to become a lot more aware of the fact that we're here in this country and that we're a part of this community as well. And just to kind of go off on a very recent experience, I actually had a pitching session, and I, in a way, I was kind of afraid at first because I was like, oh, okay, so this character clearly has a lot of Filipino-ness in this character, and I wonder if I was going to angle it specifically by mentioning it. And at first, I tried to generalize the character by sort of giving a broader introduction before I introduced the Filipino aspect of the character. And to my surprise, the person on the other side who was not Filipino immediately was like, oh, that sounds so familiar. I have a Filipino friend, uncle, aunt, you know what I mean? So you just don't know. It's the world is shrinking so much, and not just the world, but even within our communities. And yeah, I think it really comes down to relatability at this point. The stories, if they resonate with somebody, whether they're Filipino or not, they will go and see it.
And so
that's a fact. They'll definitely follow those, you know, if it resonates with them. Man, it's true.
And going back to what AJ was saying, so if you had like a piece of advice for the new generation who want to go into the creative arts or filmmaking or writing or editing or producing films, what would be your advice?
Just do it.
Don't
I
be
agree with
afraid to create something that may or may not fail. If you don't know how to do something, meet or find someone who does know how to create that or make that happen, or meet someone like AJ who's already had like, you know, has all these like great resources and like knows firsthand the industry how to make a movie, and just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask, like, how do you raise money, or where do you distribute your film? How do you know where your film goes? Like who, like, how do you know who your audience is? You know, you have to like ask yourself questions, and then you also have to find like what inspires you, like what type of content inspires you. And that's like where you start, is trying to figure out like what's your niche too. So like, what type of stories are you good at telling? And if you don't know much about that area, like do your research to know. One of the people that really inspired me is Shonda Rhimes. She's actually a showrunner. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she made How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal. She made Bridgerton. So I actually watched her masterclass, and I got super, super like hyped just from watching it, because she really gets in depth about her personal experience and how she creates a show. Like she literally goes out there and like eavesdrops on people's conversations. She asks people in the professional different industries, like, what is the culture like, you know, working in a hospital, or like working in a, or like going to a law school, or, you know, and those are things that you have to find out as a creator, as a filmmaker, because no one's going to tell you where to find your information. You just have to like do the research yourself and put in the work and the grind to do it.
Also too, I think it's also finding a support system, because, you know, obviously films, you can't make it alone. You need a team. Like I love like seeing like ROMMEL and Homer be this like this cool duo, like Patricio and AJ. Like that's awesome. Like it's like someone to bounce ideas off of, someone that you can fail with and succeed with. So I think like it's also that too, if you're a young filmmaker, finding people to just, you know, even if it's just someone to hang out with, but you guys like have the same passions, like that's super important. And I think, yeah, that would be my advice.
I think the one last thing is, coming from me, is that nobody can tell your stories like you. Like authenticity is a matter of fact. Like you should not be afraid to tell stories based on who you are as a person, because your voice is going to be unique. And if you ever wonder if you should ever mute yourself, the answer is no, because yeah, being able to tell authentic stories is becoming even more so important today than it's ever been.
I would say if you want to get into this industry, put it out there. Put it out there that you want to, and when people know that you're interested, you'll attract, you know, those type of people, and that can be your support. Try out the position that you want to do. Get on set. Try different positions. Find out what you really like. See the things that you don't like, and you know, that's how you'll find your particular thing that you want to do. Like I was pursuing directing, but I kind of fell into editing, and I really like editing. So you know, a lot of us in this panel are multi-talented, and we've been wearing different hats in, you know, this, you know, indie filmmaking world, and, you know, just try it out and just get that experience, and you'll find it's something that you like.
I think I've been finding myself telling people when they do ask me for advice about the industry. Lately, I've been telling people that they should be a good people person, and they should be aware to be nice and to be genuine, because no one wants to work with anyone who wants to be dog eat dog or solo dolo. They want to work with nice people. Not even if you're really talented, no one wants to work with you if you're just talented or you know someone who knows someone. People want to work with you because you're nice, and then you're actually a good person to work with, very caring and genuine.
Casey's super nice.
You're so nice.
Cassandra, I've never heard of solo dolo before, but now I know.
Yeah, because there's people that, you know, feel like they just want to make it alone, but no one wants to work with those people. It's a support system for sure.
That's very true. I mean, I was telling AJ I was very discouraged about I was kind of down this week because of some of the crab mentality. It was some stuff that's happening that I was kind of discouraged from, and so you know I think a lot of it is there's no timeline to get your stuff made. I think a lot of it is don't compare yourself. Each of us here have kind of created our own paths to this. So my only advice is really just create your own path. You know, there's no one way to succeed and get your film done.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's kind of echoing a little bit what Casey said. You know, for me, it's just putting your ego aside and knowing that it's not all about you.
Helping me a lot.
Yeah. And just make it, you know, it's about, for me, what keeps that fuel burning, has me kept working for 21 years now, is just, you know, this love for sharing our stories, this community, working with folks like everyone here on the panel. You know, I want to keep that atmosphere going. I want to keep that community going. You know, so it's not about just me trying to be like the editor guy. You know, it's more about me wanting to keep working with my friends with this good feeling, you know. So it's like when I get on a new show, cool. It's like not just me getting on a show, but like, cool, maybe there's an opportunity where I can get someone, you know, to, you know, shadow me here, make that connection with that producer so they can follow in my footsteps later on, you know. So that's sort of what, you know, what I think of it as. That's what's kept me going, you know. So open your ears, be a sponge, listen, put your ego aside. So that's my advice.
Anyone else? Let's hear from Abe. Mr. Abe PAGTAMA. Do you have any advice for our new generation or for anyone out there who wants to get into filmmaking?
To start with, you really don't have any, you know, movies until you have the story or the script. That's where everything, the ideas goes in there. And for me, I started when 1973. At that time, really, there wasn't any Filipinos or films that I know in the movie industry. But I'm also a veteran, and I don't know what to do with my GI Bill, so I got into acting. So funny thing is that while I was going to acting school, I was getting roles, you know, not the big one, nothing like that, but they don't even know where the Philippines at that time. So I tell them I'm Hawaiian, you know, just like the flip side. So I almost changed my name to Chang, Kim, or whatever, except being a Filipino. It changes a lot of time right now. Right now, you know, I want to thank also about Film Creative, because it got us together. And with the Film Creative, you start coming up with a different. It's not only being an actor, but also being in behind the camera. So it's a good group that getting together. I hope that Film Creative would start doing what they were doing before. Getting all these people, the professional, the people that knew, and we'll just have to keep going and doing this, because we already started. And then you have the Julie Rose, you have a lot of movies right now that's being made by Filipinos, Filipinas. Like everybody's saying, the world is too small now. That everybody else, like I said, there's a lot of a friend of mine that's watching in the Philippines right now what we're doing here in the United States. So, it's not only in the United States, but I have people all over United States, not United States, but all over the world. So we are as long as we are telling our story, helping each other out, we're gonna get there. For the people that are gonna get in, the only advice that I have when they want to be an actor or something like that, make sure you have a job. There's 150,000 SAG actors in Hollywood, and only maybe 2,000 people are working. So nothing. No matter how good you are, for me, you still have to support your family. Number one, and never give up your family. For me, I know I'm a good actor, but I can't give up my family. So still, my family is number one. To support them. So I worked for the government for a long time, but I was also acting in the side. In fact, the reason why I don't get too much theatrical roles, because I never have a theatrical agent. Or the only one that I got it because people knows me, like AJ and Patricio. So you know my work that I can do, not just commercial. I did more commercials than really movies. But I got lucky once in a while. I work in the Philippines. I work in the industry in there, and I created a lot of friends. In fact, most of my friends are younger people like you guys. I don't have too many older people like me, a friend of mine. So keep up the good work, and for the people who want to get in, as long as you are patient, like Patricia and AJ again, we're gonna have a future in this industry. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Abe. And are you ready to watch some trailers? Watch each other's trailers. So for all of our viewers, are you ready to see some show reels and some trailers? #trailers. So who are we gonna play first? I know we played ROMMEL's earlier, right?
We sure did. Just choose one. Let's go with it.
That is so awesome. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. I thought I lost my
Yes.
Good
volume
job,
for some
Casey.
reason. Yeah,
Thank
good job, Casey. That was so awesome. And can you explain a little bit about all of those projects, just very briefly?
Okay, yeah, that reel was a compilation of films from 2016 to 18, so I really need to update it. I realized many years passed, but I have one film that I did called Battle of the Sticks, where I wanted to showcase Tinikling, but more in like a more like a superhero, like somebody against each other setting. There's Plaza Boulevard. That was my festival selective film that you saw in there too. There was a music video in there, one of my first ones, the one that was black and white. And I forgot what else was it. Oh, and my web series, It's Not You, It's Me, my first ever one. There's a lot of those footage in there, and it's featuring Marilu Bustamante, Yoshi Sudarso, who used to be the Blue Power Ranger back in 2015, and then Chris Din, who, if you're a fan of Wong Fu Productions, he's from there too. So that was the compilation of those films.
That is so cool. And are you guys excited for another one? Because we're gonna be playing Charles's show reel. So hashtag Charles,
Yeah,
everybody.
Charles.
And yeah, if you want, you can chime in, when it's playing, or just to explain what's happening, if you so
Pretty
want.
sure I heard she was an LA YouTuber.
Oh, hey, Jamie Chen, right?
Excuse me, are you Jamie Chen?
Look who I just met. I've seen like all your videos. Jamie Chen.
Why?
Yeah, I was just putting out content to keep up.
Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff.
I just moved to LA and, just trying to figure it out.
Got like this real, relatable vibe to you, you know?
So many people follow and love you.
It's popular here, getting recognized on the street.
It does rain in LA, y'all.
It's the city of dreams. Everyone's on something at some point.
Are we friends now? Do you want to be my friend? Oh my god, yes.
That was so awesome, Charles. And so, can you explain a little bit about that trailer?
Yeah, that was just the trailer of my latest short film called Following Jamie. I played that at a few film nights that we hosted for Under Film Creative, and also, I actually got to kind of tour. Well, not like a huge tour, but like I got to kind of travel in the U.S. with that short film. I got into a few festivals. So, and then just I wanted to share that one only because like I'm about to release it online soon, just so for everyone could watch on my YouTube. So
that is so cool.
Awesome.
And our next one is from no other than Mr. Abe PAGTAMA. Let's check it out. I think I lost the volume on this one, Mr. Abe. And you can explain what's happening.
This is really me and Gabe decided to make this, and of course this was shown in Film Creative also, and we got a lot of followers. He said, "Let's make a movie." I'm babysitting my nephews instead of just babysitting them, so they made a short movie. So they came out with this Basketball Ghost. So it was fun. It was just shoot around our area in Beaumont, California, and we have fun doing it. He has another. I actually did two movies while we were going with us Film Creative, but he does a lot of documentaries and work with a lot of people, and of course he's writing and also have a book that came out, and hopefully that we'll be able to make a movie out of that. So thank you for having me in here.
Yeah, so that was the Abe's trailer, and so our next one, Angela's.
Yay.
That is so awesome.
I'll be really quick. So what you saw was a collection of content I created between 2017 and 2019. A lot of it was my short films, comedy, and also music videos. My most recent one that I made right before the pandemic started was the one at the end where you saw Rachel and Caitlin singing on a patio. They made a little music video, and then shortly after they started their band. So I'm glad I got to be a part of that. And yeah, it's a collection of my work and production design, editing, a lot of that stuff I edited too. So yeah, that's a summary of me. I hope you liked it.
That is so cool. I mean, it's great to see everyone's work. And before I play our last trailer, I just wanted to tell everyone that we do have a raffle. So thank you for sticking with us tonight and sticking all the way through. And we do have a raffle, and I just wanted to ask you guys in the panel, like, can we come up with some hashtag that they, like, our viewers can write in so that they can get entered into the raffle? Anyone? Patricio or Charles?
Abe.
Hashtag Abe. There you go. Hashtag Abe, everybody.
Hashtag
if you want to get
Kim. Abe Kim.
to enter the raffle, put hashtag Abe, right?
The Hawaiian version of PAGTAMA.
The Hawaiian
No, I'm just
version. Yeah, so we have 3 prizes. So the first one, like I mentioned earlier, is a Jade Necklace from Candy Cordero, and the second prize is a $25 voucher for Binalot, Los Angeles. So they make like rice bowls. And the third prize is actually a Korean skincare kit from me, the HiFi Hedgehog gift shop. And so while we're playing the video, you guys, like, our viewers can, you know, like, hashtag Abe in honor of Mr. Abe PAGTAMA. Yeah, and so are you guys ready to see the last video? This is Lumpia the Vengeance. Yeah,
Let's check it
Lumpia
out,
with
guys.
a Vengeance.
Kababayan ko! All my sexy panoys and panais.
Welcome to Fogtown, where over 60% of the population is Filipino.
Can you confirm that the restaurant incident is the work of the so-called taquito man?
What? This is the taquito everyone is talking about? It's not a taquito.
It's lumpia, the Filipino egg roll. The motives of the lumpia man are still unknown.
Lumpia man knows we're selling out Fogtown High.
What I tell you about these kids? Love that, and love that, and love.
Your sniper took down the mayor as planned.
My henchmen are trained to be 100% efficient.
Is that the egg roll man?
No, it ain't him.
Go, 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 go! Hey, you can't eat that!
Remember me? You're my hero!
Now's not the time to change the plan.
What plan?
What the?
Please tell me you're a good guy.
It's too Filipino!
It's like soy sauce and salsa getting married.
All merged together in harmony!
Screw your mama's wedding.
Fight the bully! You're all wrong! It's all because of this damn Lumpia man.
It took this long for me to find you. I'm not about to lose you, baby. You can be sure I love you forever.
No more! Fogtown will remember me! Taquito Boy!
If you want to donate,
No, I want to finish the Lumpia movie. If you want to finish the Lumpia, please. And we really need to update the color. I mean, this trailer is like what age? 3 years old, and so we still have to. It doesn't do justice to the final color of the film. So one of our jobs is to update that trailer before the next festival premiere. But anyway,
that is so awesome. It so reminds us of all of the Pinoy parties that we go to, right? Like those scenes of the parties and everyone dressed up, and then you have lumpia. That is so cool.
It spoke to me. I mean, just like the first film, you know what I'm saying? Like there, and the music too, you know. I felt my Aquanet set kind of, my Hot Top Fade kind of
freestyle music, just
yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to go hard.
Yeah, and you did.
Freestyle's back.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure to bring back Freestyle Friday. Just want to let you guys know.
Yeah. So every now and then, in the Socal Filipinos and Socal Pinoys group, there's like maybe 2 or 3 of us who start a Freestyle Friday or Freestyle Saturday. Which just like it's like a party, and we just like keep on posting, like links to YouTube videos of freestyle videos. They're like, who's on? Like, who wants to party with us? Freestyle. Oh my god.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
makes me want to grow my hair back.
Like kids in those groups are just like, what's freestyle?
Yeah, we're like,
I need my black turtleneck. My black turtleneck and my DJ.
Basically, that song you heard in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was almost like Filipino dance music, or Mexican, or right? Or Mexican Latinx. Yeah.
Latin freestyle.
Yeah.
I've attended a party where it's all like instrumental of freestyle music.
All Planet Rock.
No words.
All Planet Rock.
Yeah.
That's it. Like every DJ that came up was all Planet Rock.
So are you guys ready for the raffle? Is everyone
do
ready?
It, guys.
Oh my gosh, this is what we've been waiting for. And so most of our viewers are coming from the Mick Diaz Presents Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching, and we actually have Arvin in the background, so let me check. And so before anything, while I'm plugging in the names, can you anybody tell our viewers where they can be found and what your next project is? So basically, what's new with you and what your projects are and where they can find you, and any information about your current projects. Anybody?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So you can find me on YouTube, Angela Rose Films. I put a lot of my content on there. I also promote my work on my Instagram, which is also Angela Rose Films. And also my website is arosefilms.com. You can support me by watching my videos, liking, sharing. Right now, I'm currently just focused on my writing. But once I have a script ready, hopefully you'll see that film out in 2021.
And AJ or Patricio?
I'm developing. I have a script that just finished that I'm hoping to hopefully fundraise or kickstart. I don't know if we're going to do Kickstarter it again. So AJ says no. But it's a biopic that I have the life rights to, so I'm hoping I can do that next. If not, we'll just do Lumpia 3. Why not?
Yes, do it.
Yeah, I know.
Rommel or Mark?
Rommel, you go ahead, and then I'll go after you.
Oh, okay. I am working on a original series, 6 episode web series. What else am I doing? I'm competing in the HBO AP Visionaries competition. I'll be shooting a short film next weekend, and I will be also producing and directing a Filipino food show showcasing all the Filipino restaurants in California and maybe beyond. We'll see. And you can follow me at Rommix Pro. That's my production company, rommixpro.com. We also Rommix Pro on Instagram, and you can follow me at Rommix Pro.
And for myself, you can find me on Instagram at markfx411. You can follow our supernatural drama that's coming out this year under Carmina series, and which also has the comic book, which we finished issue 1 pretty much this week, and issue 2 is currently in the works. So, and you'll basically see plastered all over my stuff. So feel free.
Well, you know, I'm sorry. Speaking of comic books, we did one. So if you need help, Mark, I forgot we are starting our comic books. So we have issue 2 of Olympia of the Vengeance coming out too. So
awesome.
If you need help, Mark, we're here.
Sounds great.
Is Leroy still part of that project?
Leroy will always be a part of us. He will never escape.
Awesome. He was actually my coworker a long time ago.
Oh, there you go. Small world. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you guys ready for the raffle? So I got everyone in. So let me just show you like what the first one is. So we're raffling off one Jade Necklace. That's a $60 value from Candy M. Cordero of Luxury Handbags and More. Okay, so let me just share this. Are you guys ready? We don't have sound effects this time.
Let that wheel spin. Let's see who wins it.
Oh, no. Okay. Let's go.
Ooh, the drama.
The drama.
Oh!
Gabe PAGTAMA won the first prize. It's rigged. It's hashtag Abe.
Hashtag Abe Kim.
Oh, you know, there was nothing in the contract, right? So we
So that's one $60 Jade Necklace, $65 Jade Necklace goes to Abe PAGTAMA. Congratulations. And our second prize is one $25 voucher from Jenny Padayao of Binalot, Los Angeles. So you can choose whatever dishes she has. I think her menus change every week. So you can check with her, but it's a $25 value. Are you guys ready?
Let's go.
Yeah, let me remove Gabe's name.
Yes, please.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Dorothy Pasamba won the $25 voucher from Jenny Padayao of Binalot, Los Angeles. And then the third prize is from me. So this is from my online gift shop, the HiFi Hedgehog gift shop, and it's one Korean skincare, and it's a $20 value. And there are several of these, like they come in different colors. So yeah, once I find out who the winner is, we can, connect with each other and you can choose what you like. I have different kinds. So let's go. Hey, thank you for the sound effect. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Patricia Esguerra. This is the very first time that she's winning something from our show. We have a brand new winner. Yeah, because we noticed like a lot of the people who win are like the same people. So congratulations, Patricia.
How do you get best 80 out there?
Yeah, shout out.
Hire.
We have a good congratulations, everybody. And thank you so much to all of our panelists. Thank you for sharing with us your experiences and your knowledge and your advocacy for more representation and for being pillars for our Philam community.
Yes.
In media and the film industry. Thank you so much. And to all of our viewers, thank you for watching us. We got a lot of new viewers today, and thank you so much. So we'll see you tomorrow, because tomorrow at 8 o'clock we have show tunes. That's part of our jam sessions show. So at 8 o'clock tomorrow we have 3 of our Philam performers, musical theater performers who haven't performed in a very long time, but tomorrow they will sing for us our favorite musical show tunes. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock we'll see you guys, and thank you so much. And
Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
it was a great panel. It was great
Yes.
seeing
for
everyone.
having us.
It's
Yes,
so
thank
much-
you.
Thank you.
guys.
One division in 2 hours. One division. In 2
Yeah,
hours.
one division, 2 hours, guys. Oh, but before we go, real quick, what do you guys, because of the pandemic, what have you guys been watching? I need some new suggestions.
I think
Sydney
Patricia
in
just
Georgia.
Okay.
I
Anyone else?
mean, WandaVision tonight,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Finale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Besides that, yeah, I'm
I just
ready to
finished
lock in.
Lovecraft Country. I saw
Oh,
that.
that's
you
right.
like-
yeah, totally.
If you like animals, watch Canine Intervention on Netflix.
Okay, I'm gonna bookmark that.
Also, tomorrow there's a new Bruno
Camp
Mars song coming
Cretaceous.
out.
Don't forget Camp
With
Cretaceous.
Anderson
You like
Paak, so-
dinosaurs.
Okay, I'll check those out as well. Oh, and one more thing before we go. I'm sorry. But Charles used to play in a band that I really liked called Far Out. What kind of show is this?
Wait, what?
Dang.
So
Okay,
he was the bass player. Like we were all into the same kind of like we're all into like kind of Britpop and indie pop. And he
It's
played with a
deep
lot of my other
cuts.
friends, like in Hella Pacific,
Oh
Peter
my
Hill
gosh.
before and stuff. So I just want to show you because I haven't seen you in a while, Charles, and I want you to sign something next time.
You gotta
I
Oh,
never
my
did a
God.
music video for you guys,
Oh,
man.
my
AJ, we were missing out.
That's great.
That'd be awesome.
By the way,
Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure and honor to have you guys on this, and it was a great eye opener and one that man, I hope our next generation who's watching this sees that they can do this. I mean, there's a lot of things available to them now, and not like just their dad's camcorder. They've got their phones and stuff like that, and
Absolutely.
actually, you guys are leading the way. And I'm proud to be Philam, and thank you guys so much for doing this stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the prolific work. I see like streams every day. Oh my gosh. Thank you for amplifying our voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mick wants to do. As long as she's been doing this, she's been wanting to amplify all Phil and Philam voices.
That's great. Thank you for your work.
Awesome.
Thank you so
It's all
much,
her.
you guys.
Yeah, when the pandemic's done, we got to do like in-person version of this. It'd be nice.
Yeah, no, we
Yes, that
definitely
would
want
be
to do like
awesome.
panels like that and stuff like that, so we get more people in and they can all, be
Yeah, but we're still in our
Q&A and-
computers. We're still doing the Zoom thing, but we're in person. in
Can
front
we
of
take
each other.
a photo? Can we take a photo?
Screen grab?
Good screenshot.
Yeah. Oh, can we get the?
Okay, everybody, look at your cameras.
Hey, I'm covered.
I think Ronald's covered.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
Okay, got it.
Got the bug.
Also, by the way, one last thing I wanted to say, because I saw some of our healthcare workers / actors, film creative people in there, to all of the healthcare workers, and Laura, I saw you, so
Yeah,
big
Laura.
shout out.
Hello.
Shout out to our frontline workers who are doing the work every day.
Yeah, they're getting out there,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay safe, y'all. Almost out of this, please.
So let's get that thing going. Let's get that injection. Soon,
Yes.
hopefully.
Injection.
Yeah, then
Injection.
and then we can all finally be together.
Yes,
Put in each
exactly.
other's films and stuff like that. And
Lumpia.
conventions with you guys, it'd be great.
Share lumpia with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Shanghai all around.
Not literally, but
Watch Lumpia.
Yeah. Hopefully, when my DVD comes back around, I'll be able to watch it finally. The first
Yes. Yeah. It's like a library book.
I am the library, to be honest.
Patricio, part 3 better have the vegetarian version.
There's
The
better-
vegan version,
The
the
vegan
vegan,
character.
gluten-free keto version.
Impossible lumpia.
Mr.
Lumpia
Impossible. Dr. Impossible.
That is so funny.
Like
And It is now Women's History Month, right?
Hey, Kim.
We should name Olympia after Abe. The Abe PAGTAMA Olympia.
PAGTAMA Lumpia.
Lumpiade. Lumpiade.
Lumpia a la Abe.
Yeah.
Hey, PAGTAMA Cinematic Universe. We just all play part of it. It's all really that cinematic.
It's all
universe.
connected.
It's all connected.
Yeah, Abraham, the father of like the generations. Right?
We got
Everyone has a project. We'll have to have
another...
an ending credit scene, so it connects to your next film. You know.
Yes. Exactly.
Watch Lumpia with Vengeance.
Yeah.
Lumpy Abe with a vengeance.
That's the third one.
Oh, that's the third one, right? Lumpia.
Lumpia.
Let's get a distributor first, and then we'll worry about the third one.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Oh man, this is great, guys. My heart's full. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, me too.
We're still live, or are we? This is
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
We are live.
Party, yeah.
Oh, we are.
Ready to-
This is gonna be welcome to the official WandaVision watch party, everyone.
Welcome to After Hours.
This is the after party.
Yeah, like in about 2 hours.
How do you
I'll
really
jump
feel?
on Disney Plus.
I know exactly. I want to quit. No.
Thank you, everybody's watching all over the world.
Yeah, we're gonna wait till the watch goes to 0, and then we're done.
Everyone here, shout out
We'll
to
be here
Jerry
all night.
LaFuente, Laura, Lyle's here, Roger, Patty, Gabe, Randy.
Randy.
That's what happens in real life, by the way. We just keep talking. We can't
This is
you have to
the
get out of the building.
long Filipino goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving away.
Filipino goodbye, right? It never ends.
They're missing out.
Yeah, exactly. People who logged out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is me like at my car door, like, yeah, man. So
Yeah, exactly. You're at your car door already, and you're like, no.
No. Those are the people who logged out and say, "Oh wait, it's still going on. There's an after credit scene." Let's go. They jump back into the theater. Like,
I might as well get my second drink now. Jeez.
Oh, AJ, you're so sneaky.
Oh.
Is that Red
It's been
Horse?
there since I had another cocktail.
Is that Red Horse?
It is Red Horse, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh.
AJ's gonna send out the fourth grand prize winner right here. We're gonna
yeah, fourth grand. It's a have a swig with me.
Yeah.
In West LA.
Oh, Red Horse. Red Horse.
Had to be.
Makes you do things. I can't anymore.
Yeah, no, I know. It's we gotta keep it in moderation. But hey, it's I got drinking buddies.
Hey Dion, I
Yeah.
see you, Dion. You hang up first.
Oh, are we doing that? You hang up first.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you sleep, and then I'll sleep.
That's my need.
That is so funny.
Gonna Sanam Long now, or
Yeah.
Sanam Long, yeah, there you go.
How about Full House? We go to Full House now, or yes, Pinay goodbyes are so long. It's like
It's so hard to
scene
say
to a return
goodbye.
scene.
I'm just kidding.
I feel like a Filipino goodbye. Take about 2 hours to say goodbye,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go now, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later.
Take care, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye, guys.